Hey there, Aquarius. So this is the forecast taking you from the new moon in Gemini right the way through to the full moon in Sagittarius on the 11th of June. So it's a 2-week forecast. And I have to say, there are some huge themes. We have just had Saturn go into the sign of Aries, and obviously that is creating new vibrations and new feelings. And we've got Jupiter changing signs in this forecast period. Moreover, we've also got Venus and Mercury. In fact, Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter are all changing signs within 3 days of each other. So there's so much going on, some really big themes. So I'm going to bring this up now just to show you. I've actually also released an overview video for all signs, not just for Aquarius. And it goes a lot deeper into the astrological aspects and some of the themes of this 2-week period that I just can't capture in this short little 10-minute forecast. This would include the Sabian symbols, a look at those and their relevance, and a lot more about the just a lot more about the full and the new moons. So the overview of it really is that the new moon in Gemini is so super airy, and there's not much resistance in it. It's got so much flow. It's moving super fast, and so I see this ideas, consciousness, all this stuff coming in at a rapid rate. And so the first part of this forecast, which is in the new moon and the waxing phase, is about, I think, being silent enough to hear what's going on, to really react to all this new information as it arrives within you. And it could be coming from the outside world, it could be coming from local people, it could just be what you're deducing about yourself. And then as we're coming towards the end of this and the full moon in Sagittarius, this is really bringing up a fiery chart. There's so much emphasis to move and change and to really make a difference somehow in your life. And so that's what I'm really going to be exploring here. And, if you're new to this channel, let me just introduce myself. My name's Louisa Tanner Munson. Welcome. And, the way I practice astrology is to try and look at it from a perspective of possibility, like what else is possible with these aspects? How can we make these work for us in a great way rather than feel trapped by us? And so, yeah, that's what I'm aiming to do. And so in this short video, I'm going to be deep diving into everything Aquarius. I don't know if you've got your sun in Aquarius or your ascendant in Aquarius, but this is for you. This is Western tropical whole sign astrology. Ideally, it's better for your ascendant sign. And so if your sun sign is different, check out that one too. Between the two of them, I think you'll get some really good intel. Anyway, let's have a look. Before we go too deep, I just want to say thank you to everybody that supports this channel, and to you too. If you've come back to this channel after seeing another video, thank you so much. I have a lot of fun here. I really do enjoy it. And so for everyone that's donated, bought me a coffee here and there, or to all of my members on my school community, thank you so much. I really see you. I really love the interaction we have, and thank you so much for your generosity. Anyway, here are the charts. So we're looking at the new moon in Gemini chart, which is here, and you'll see it's very precise looking. It's very angular. There's these lovely trines, which is showing a lot of ease and speed. And these sextiles here are guaranteeing, I think, that information can get through to us, and there's very, very little resistance. And then, the moon is here, and throughout this 2-week period, the moon is heading over to Sagittarius. And here's the chart, and you'll see it looks completely different. Isn't it funny how the moon moving, the sun shifting, Mercury and Venus, these are the main ones are moving in this, in this period. Just their little movements over a space of 2 weeks really changes the view. And you'll see with this, there's a lot of resistance. These oppositions here cutting across the chart, and these squares, they are really creating a sense of blockages, stoppages, and tension to be overcome. So the thing that I really notice about this, and I'm going to start with this new moon chart, is the new moon is being activated in your 5th house. The 5th house is all about what you're birthing in your reality and how you can experience more love, more joy, more upliftment. It's a happy house. It's a place where we might meet somebody who becomes special in our life. So it can show early dates. and intimacy, because obviously, you know, when most people meet, there's a sense of romance and getting it on, isn't there? It's also a place where children come, obviously. You know, people get together, and, you know, so babies do come in this area as well. But essentially, it's a really creative place where everything that you're creating is to uplift yourself. So it's interesting. You've got this new moon here. It's fascinating. It's a great new moon position to, you know, in fact, and especially knowing that Uranus is going to come into your sign on the 7th of July. I think this particular new moon is giving you a taster of what creativity might feel like for you. Now, given that you've got Pluto that moved into your sign in November, you know, Pluto is really supporting this new moon stellium. It's really helping. It's really helping energies of transformation and rapid transformation and rapid innovation and creativity to come up, to sort of well up in you. And you might even feel that, you know, new ideas are kind of coming to you psychically. Maybe you see them, you smell them, you hear them. I mean, I see things playing out like a movie in my mind. You might get the feelings of something and elaborate on those feelings, and then something is created. But there is this sense that you're entering into this very creative space. Now, if I move over to the 11th house, full moon in Sagittarius, this part of the chart is where our friends live and where our collaborations exist. So I think of it as the law of attraction house, by the way, you know, because we are, you know, creating with the universe or God or whatever energy you want to name it. But it's a place where our friendships exist. You know, it's a place of support where we're not doing it all on our own down here. But we're supported to do things. It's also a place where we might have a global vision versus our own singular vision. And anything that goes through here can show the kind of energies that your friends might have. In fact, if you've got stepchildren, that's, you know, stepchildren also show up here. So, yeah, I guess where we're going from, if I take it back again, we're going from self-creation and defining what is lifting us up to co-creation, you know, what we're creating with other people. And at the time of this full moon in Sagittarius, you know, you might find your friends, your networks, your friends of friends, your stepchildren, you know, you may well find that they are quite tense and emotional. And you might find that they're trying to grab onto your own creations. You know, I find the tension between the 5th and the 11th is not so drastic, but when it is going on, you might really feel like you want to protect, a bit like you're protecting your belly. You might be saying, hands off, I'm creating a baby here, and it's for me to enjoy right now. You know, this is my pleasure, my passion. And so I really feel that up here, you can create with other people, but you might not get that sense of a similar passion. You know, you might find that your voice feels a little bit drowned out in the crowd. And so that's where I think this tension is existing for you in this 2 weeks period ahead, is like, how can you create for yourself whilst also maintaining friendships, but not feeling that things get distracted? Yeah, there's a bit of tension around there. And it's also bringing in a sense of tension around the nodes as well. You know, this full moon is also activating the north node and the south node in your 2nd and 8th house. So to me, there's some element of value attached to this. You know, how is what you're creating right now dependent on or helping you to earn more money, helping you to raise your sense of self-esteem? Do you feel good about what you're creating right now? Does it feel like it's assisting you? Do you feel like you've got more support? Do you feel like in doing so, you're a bigger or brighter or more courageous person? Similarly, you might also remember times in the past where your sharing hasn't gone according to plan, where doing things with other people has been manipulated or distracted or destroyed, you know, where problems have occurred. And so you might be very reluctant to share again. You might not want to share your ideas. You might want to do it on your own. So this is quite the conundrum, you know, because typically the Aquarian energy is really all up for co-creating, because, you know, this is where global visions come in, or world visions come in, you know, like the idea of campaigners or people in protests. You know, that really is a kind of Aquarian energy, you know, like the right to a group, the right to have a group think, and the right to be heard if things aren't right. So I really do think, you know, there is a real tension here, between wanting to do the group think and then also really needing to create something for yourself. Maybe it's time to do it on your own. Maybe you've done so much in the group that now your real transformation is to come into your own sense of sovereignty. And of course, how can you be sovereign when you're part of a group? Unless you're all being sovereign in the same way. I mean, I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? So yeah, there's some big things. Now, I do think as you're going through this period of time, and I just want to go back here, there's these three big planetary moves. And these planetary moves are, Venus going into the sign of Taurus. She's coming into that part of your home, which is going to be really helpful. There's also Mercury moving into the sign of Cancer, which is actually where you do all of your organization. This is a very functional part of your chart and where you get quite busy and you start doing a lot of things. Jupiter is also moving into the sign of Cancer just a day after Mercury is, and they're working together in a conjunction. I think these are really showing you that whatever's going on right now, I think a really big emphasis is on getting your home and your the balance of your life right. And if you can get the home and the balance of your life right, you might not feel like you need so much attention from out here. You might actually feel a lot more contented to create for yourself and to take full responsibility for what you're birthing in this world. Last thing then, so I've mentioned a little bit about, the energy of this full moon and that it could really, pull apart a little bit at the feelings of your collaborations. And so I just want to touch base a little bit on Saturn in his position and also Uranus. I mean, Uranus is going to be moving into this very creative part of your chart. So anywhere where you feel like you're not good enough to use your own creativity to move forwards, I think that's something to look at. Maybe it's time to speak to more creative people, see how other people do it, and to practice. There's no shame in practicing, and Pluto coming into your first house is really challenging you to try a new technique, not to go down the same old, but to follow the beat of your own drum. Really, truly. And then Saturn coming into the third is really showing that it's time to have a lot more discernment about who you let in your life and the things that you decide to work on. So I'm going to leave that there. Obviously, I'll be back in 2 weeks with another forecast. But if you would like a deeper look, in particular with the sort of same kind of focus as I've used today, you might be interested in my membership, which I run all the time. It's on school.com/feelgood astrology. It's school with a K. There's a 1 week free trial, so you get to try before you buy, and you can cancel at any time, by the way. But throughout the course of the month, there are 4 forecasts of this intensity that I deliver, 2 based on your loves, your relationship and your connections, i.e. love, and 2 on your career and ambitions, which also brings in money and resources. So they're very, very focused. So where I've gone today, I would deviate into both of those different directions. Also, I provide daily guidance, so I pop those in the day before, so you can get an update on where you might be, the next day. So I think that's quite fun. I also put in 2 groupinars or group meetings, every 2 weeks. I invite people in the group to come and join me, and we look at charts, and there's always a subject, usually something that's exploring astrology from a different aspect, something that might be psychological. We might be pulling something apart and really examining it and seeing what it means to us. And you don't necessarily need to know lots about astrology. This is also it almost has a sort of counseling and coaching kind of feel. We've got a really lovely connection within the group. So if you are looking for sort of yummy support, then I think you'll love it. Also, if you have been thinking about having a consultation with me, I also give you 20% off, which I think is quite a nice little discount. So if that sounds like something that could help you through this sort of transitional time as you're coming more into your own birthing, then just check it out. All you have to do is go to school.com/feelgood astrology and enter into your trial. So anyway, I hope that's helpful to you, Aquarius. Sending you tons and tons of love for this 2 weeks ahead, and hopefully I'll catch up with you real soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.